everyone, and welcome back to the CEO Nutrition Education channel. My name is Alana, and I am a nutrition educator for the Commission on Economic Opportunity. I'm so happy to have you all tuning in with us today for our lesson on beans. Today, I would like to discuss with you all the cost effectiveness of utilizing dried beans versus canned beans, as well as demonstrate and discuss the two simple methods that you can use at home to prepare dried beans for tasty and nutritious meals. Dried beans can be significantly cheaper per serving in comparison to canned beans. One bag or 16 ounces of dried beans can be prepared to make roughly 5 to 6 cups of beans, whereas one 15-ounce can of already prepared beans only yields about 2 cups of beans. When breaking down the cost of dried beans versus canned beans, we found that dried beans came out to be about 11 cents per serving, whereas our canned beans came out to be about 15 cents per serving. This means that our dry beans were 4 cents cheaper per serving than canned beans, and results in a more economical food choice. For the next part of our lesson, I will be demonstrating as well as discussing the two simple methods that you can use at home to prepare dried beans. Before we begin, it's very important that you remember to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds using soap and warm water. After that, we can begin to prepare our dried beans. Our very first step after thoroughly washing our hands for either method is to sort through the dried beans on a clean surface and remove any tiny pebbles or shriveled beans. The beans then need to be soaked before they are cooked. There are two different methods that we can use to soak our dried beans. The first method, which will be the one that I demonstrate today, is the quick soak method. For each pound or 2 cups of dried beans, add 10 cups of hot water. Heat to boiling and let boil for 2 to 3 minutes. Remove from heat, cover and set aside for 1 to 2 hours. The second method that we can use to soak our dried beans is known as the overnight soak. Using this method, you would take 1 pound or 2 cups of dried beans, cover them in 10 cups of cold water, and let the beans soak overnight or for at least 8 hours. After the beans have soaked, drain soaking water and rinse with fresh water. Cover the beans with fresh water and simmer for 1 to 2 hours until tender. I would like to note that you should only add salt and acidic foods such as tomatoes or lemon juice to beans after they've cooked. Salt can toughen bean skins, and acidic foods can keep them from ever getting tender. If you aren't going to be using or consuming your dried beans right away, you can store them in an airtight container in the refrigerator for 4 to 5 days or in the freezer for up to 6 months. If you're storing your beans in the freezer, remember to coat them with a layer of water to prevent freezer burn. Any leftover dried beans that you might have should be stored in an airtight container away from moisture to prevent the beans from spoiling. That's our lesson for today. feel free to share in the comments any benefits or drawbacks to using dry beans. Together, we might be able to brainstorm some ways to overcome each drawback and make cooking with dried beans as easy as 1, 2, 3. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the CEO Nutrition page. My name is Amanda, and today we'll be making a meatless taco salad recipe that is quick, easy, and requires no cooking. Before we get started, we must make sure to wash our hands for at least 20 seconds. This will ensure that our hands are clean and free of any germs that could transfer to our food. If you're making this recipe for a group or a party that will all hopefully be attending soon, you should think about wearing food-safe gloves. If you're making this recipe for your family or just for yourself like I am today, clean hands will do just fine. For this recipe, you will need a cutting board, serrated knife, mixing bowl, a large spoon or spatula, a colander, a large dish, and salad tongs. The food ingredients are reduced sodium kidney beans, any kind of lettuce you like, tomatoes, low-fat sour cream, low-sodium taco seasoning, low-fat shredded cheese, and baked tortilla chips. We should always rinse our produce before using, so here I'm rinsing our tomatoes under running water, and we'll rinse the lettuce as well, making sure to pick off any wilted or damaged leaves, rinsing them really well underwater, and then to conserve paper towels, we'll use a clean dish towel to just blot off any excess water. When choosing canned beans, we want to try and aim for the reduced sodium versions. But whenever we're using canned beans, we want to empty them out into a colander and rinse and drain them until all of those bubbles go away. This will not only help get rid of any excess sodium, but it can also rinse away some compounds in the canned beans that can contribute to gas. So it's a win-win. Once our beans are rinsed and drained, we'll add them right into our mixing bowl. Now that all of our ingredients are ready, let's put this taco salad together. First, we're going to dice our tomatoes. Whenever we're cutting anything on a cutting board, we want to try and get a flat surface. So I'll be cutting these tomatoes right down the middle so I can lay them flat and cut them up from there. You can find the full version of this recipe in the description of this video below. The full recipe calls for adding the tomatoes into the topping with our beans and sour cream. But because I'm making this recipe just for me, and I'll be eating it over a few days, I don't want the moisture from the tomatoes seeping into the salad and wilting the leaves, so I'll be placing the tomatoes on the bottom of the taco salad dish. For our lettuce, you can choose to use a cutting board and chop up the leaves, or with clean hands, you can rip up the lettuce into bite-sized pieces and distribute them on top of our tomatoes. I thought I was going to need 2 heads of lettuce for this recipe, but 1 turned out to be enough for me. You can find the full amount of ingredients in the recipe. For our topping, we'll be adding our sour cream and taco seasoning in with our rinsed and drained beans. Then, we'll stir those together until it's all combined. Once our topping is evenly mixed, we'll spoon it on top of our lettuce and tomato mixture. Then you can use your spoon or spatula to spread it evenly over the leaves. Next, we'll take our shredded cheese and sprinkle it on top of our taco salad. Our last step is to crush up tortilla chips to sprinkle on top. You can put them into a plastic bag to help with breaking them into smaller pieces. The recipe calls for adding this topping onto our taco salad. Because I'll be eating this over a few days, I like to keep the tortilla chips on the side so that they don't get soggy in the refrigerator. And there is our finished taco salad. I encourage you all to try this recipe because it is so easy to make and it's very delicious. Even though I don't personally like kidney beans, this is one of my favorite meatless recipes. So give it a try. And just like that, our taco salad is done and ready to eat. Please let us know in the comments below if you make this recipe or if there are any changes that you would like to make to the recipe. We love to hear your feedback. Thank you all so much for watching and see you next time.
Hello again, everyone. My name is Alana, and I am a nutrition educator for the Commission on Economic Opportunity. Today, I will be demonstrating for you all how to make a healthy and delicious pasta with greens and beans recipe. This recipe utilizes several pantry staple items, and it's a great way to incorporate more beans into your everyday diet. The pasta with greens and beans recipe does include ingredients that contain wheat and milk. So if you have an allergy to wheat, milk, or dairy products, please avoid making this recipe. Before we begin, it's very important that we remember to thoroughly wash our hands using soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. After we've done that, we can gather our ingredients and get cooking.